So we're back. It's Don't Mess with Jim. It's the third week of the Guinness Six Nations, and this episode is brought to you by Isuzu. Of course it is. We love them, they love us. How cool. Do I, would I, should I look in a truck? Very cool. But anyway, it's not about me, because on this Don't Mess with Jim, I'm joined, I have company. It's the main man from Ireland, it's Irish hero, Ulster legend, friend, colleague, Darren Cave. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Do you like the intro?
I loved it, and a friend was the favourite bit. The rest of it, you know, friend of Jim Hamilton, that's top of my CV.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Right, so the next one on Saturday, we've got Wales versus France. Been very impressed with France, like a lot of people. Wales. Can Wales win the Six Nations still? There's question marks over the team, and it's only one game. But they did lose emphatically against the Irish. But from your opinion, and from what you've seen of Wales, and the way that they play, and some of the big injuries that they've got, George North on the wing, a few question marks around him. Firstly, are Wales the same team that they were under Warren Gatland? I know it's a very superficial and it's an easy throwaway comment. And can they win the Six Nations?
It's hard to know. We're supposed to be experts. I don't know if I'm an expert on this topic. I'm not sure where Wales are at. I don't think we learned a lot in the Italy game. They were poor last week. Would I be surprised if they beat France in Cardiff? Not overly. People love to talk about the coaches leaving. I mean, a lot of the players are still there. They have got a few injuries. Obviously missing Anscombe as well as good as Dan Biggar is. We know how well he's been playing for Northampton, and they miss John Davies. But yeah, I mean, they are more than capable, and that's why the Six Nations is such a good competition. It's sitting so nicely at the minute because you have two unbeaten teams in Ireland and France travelling to play two very tough games in Wales and in England. So it's all happening this weekend.
The big thing for me around Wales, and the big talking point that has been spoke about on here, is Shaun Edwards leaving and going to France, and the influence that he's had not just on the French team, but also the void that he's left in that Welsh defence. And again, it's easy to say and to pass judgment, but you can only go based on what we saw against Ireland, conceded 4 tries, which is unheard of for a Welsh team. Their defence is watertight. You know, the physicality that they've got there, that is what they've based their game on, because they're a team that don't score many tries. So, you know, I think the question that the millions of Welsh fans out there want to know is how big a void has Shaun Edwards left? And then you marry that up with Warren Gatland at the helm, having left as well, Wayne Pivac come in. How long is it going to take for Wales to kind of get it right, I'd say? And again, it's only been one game. It's only been one game. They played against the Barbarians before they played the game against Italy at the start of the Six Nations. So they've had an easy build-up. First big test was Ireland, away, always going to be difficult. The next one, their defence has got to be on point against France. Imagine how motivated Shaun Edwards is. Oh,
you could see a France win, couldn't you? With Edwards going over there. You are right. Like, thinking back of Wales, you wouldn't associate them with conceding 4 tries. Even last year, when they were winning games, they weren't scoring. Throughout the World Cup, they won games, got to semi-final. You wouldn't have associated them with a team that was going to score 4 or 5 tries with their attacking game. Has there been a shift from playing myself against teams that were coached by Pivac and Stephen Jones at the Scarlets over the last few years? Those teams really, really do like to play. So within that Wales group, has there been a little bit of a shift in culture as well, in terms of it's all about moving the ball and not about this sort of game plan that's all based around defence, which Edwards has driven with Gatland over the last 10 or so years. But I'm excited for that game now. That I didn't really think about the Shaun Edwards factor. I have a feeling France are going to win now. Oh. I think he's going to get those French boys très excited. Is that French?
Très excited gay.
Excited monte.
Excited gay up there. Anyway, we need to give a line on France because they were ridiculous in week 1 against England. They were okay against Italy, but they still played very well. We still saw their offloading ability. When you look at that team, were you similar to me? And like, a lot of them players were unheard of. I watched a little bit. I do like my rugby. I watched a little bit of them in the World Cup, under 20s, and we know France have won it back to back. And I stopped watching the top 14. I thought it was rubbish. I was watching. It was just like stop start, slow. Actually, the way that I played. to be fair. So I probably should have watched it. But
It's hard to get on TV now as well in the UK and Ireland.
Yeah, it is. But when you look at France, and you look at the way they're playing, you look at their exciting young talent, there's been a big talk and there's been questions, and I've answered a couple of questions in that I think France are the team for this decade moving forward, with the profile, with the coaching, with Sean Edwards in there as well. I don't think he'll stay there for a decade. He'll be about 110 if he leaves at the end of it. But when you look at the French team, how excited, if you were a French fan, would you be?
Very, and yeah, I was exactly like you. I'm still getting to learn who all the players are, because you haven't seen a lot of them. And yeah, I think you made a good point before about the French team. Because they had a game called off at the World Cup, we didn't really get a good look at them, so it was hard to see where they were at. I think as a rugby fan, it's good for rugby that France get back to where they were. I mean, you wouldn't call them whipping boys, but they have flattered to deceive for sure the past few years. You know, Scotland have been improving. It's all about Wales, England, Ireland the last few years. I think the Six Nations needs a strong France team, and I think everyone wants their team to do well. All the English fans want England to do well, same with Scotland, same with Ireland. But it is good to have a French team. And, you know, for us, Celtic brothers, to see the French beat the English, you know, we don't have favourites on this, on Don't Mess With Jim, but let's just say we may have enjoyed that.
So you're going France by?
France to win, yeah. Sean Edwards is going to get them absolutely riled up. It's going to be a loose game, and France are going to win by 10.
Oh, I was going to go France by 12.
Oh yeah, just go tries everywhere.
Yeah, it's going to be a big show. It depends on the weather, but we know the Principality.
Get the roof closed.
If you're Welsh, you'll be like, no, do not close that roof. So they won't. Well, I'm going France by 12.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Darren Cave. And one piece of advice I would like to give the millions of viewers is do not mess with Jim.
Do not mess with Jim. Get it? Get it? You get
See what I did there?